Alright, what's up you guys? I'm coming back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about fighters with the best fight week build-ups. I think this is an important part of the game that's often overlooked by a lot of MMA fighters. They get to these press conferences and they're like, yeah, I have a lot of respect for my opponent and we're going to try our best and we're going to see who wins on Saturday. And it's like, okay, yeah, MMA is a respect sport. We're all on the same page. We love two fighters showing respect to each other at the very end of their fight. But dude, in the build up, we gotta like have a reason to watch this fight, you know, so sell us something. There's fighters who are better at doing that than others. I wanted to make this list today, so let's get right into it. The first fighter is gonna be Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer is salty. He's real salty, and he always addresses the criticism that he receives online. That's like a lot of fighters at like the highest level in other sports. They talk about, you know, like mental clarity and the things that they do to preserve that as far as social media and limiting their intake and the hate comments that they get about their performances. Joe Pyfer leans into it fully. He embraces the fact that there are people that don't like him, and he just addresses them and calls them out. I remember in one of his Mac Life interviews or something like this, he was throwing shots at like Lucas Tracy, just like some Lucas Tracy got to be a big time MMA creator, but he wasn't the biggest. And he was literally getting called out by Joe Pyfer, probably over just some super random small thing that he had said in a video that was like months prior to Joe Pyfer even saying anything about it in a press conference. So I liked that, bro. I thought it was super funny. And the fact that he continued to be salty after he was vindicated with a victory if he did win. And then he lost to Hermanson. It was like, you kind of are eating these words now, and it made it funny to like roast him, you know. So that's the game that you play. High risk, high reward. You talk a lot of trash in the presser, you gotta perform. But if you do, you look like a rock star. But if you don't, then like, you know, you may lose a little bit of aura for that. But that's just what it is, man. Like, you're giving the fans what they want. So Joe Pyfer is a good pick here. He goes at our first placement. The second one, Renato Moicano. Like, dude, we love Renato Moicano. He has a podcast. He's so damn good at talking at press conferences. So with this guy, a lot of his most notable moments happen after winning fights, but before then, his pre-fight analysis of like a lot of things that go on, and whenever he's just talking about general topics, the way that he refers to like people, like especially opponents that he has potentially, is so funny. And this guy is the GOAT of promoting himself. I remember I would watch the MMA Hour once upon a time, you know, the old Ariel Alwani podcast. I'm not even sure if this is like, bro, amongst all of the things that are going on right now in the sphere, like, the MMA Hour isn't even relevant anymore. But he used to host Renato Moicano a lot, and Renato Moicano would just go on there and talk about money. Like, he's literally an economist, dude. This guy is an actual freaking genius, dude. So, Renato, if you want access to all of my bank accounts, they're yours, buddy, because I trust you with them. I know that you'll make smart investments and get me where I'm trying to go. Literally, this is how he's promoting himself in the build-ups of fights. He's literally just, he's talking about government conspiracy and like how to stack US dollars and how to like build your economic portfolio properly. And I rock with it, dude. Honestly, he's coming with something different, and he's super freaking passionate whenever he wins, and it's a brilliant thing. So Renato Moicano definitely is great with build-ups and fights. He's got Benoit Saint-Denis. I'm not sure if he's been doing any jawing, but he was definitely calling him out. So, I mean, this didn't just happen randomly. So, Renato Moicano definitely gets a mention here. This is literally like the pinnacle of the list. I didn't place this in any particular order, but dude, Conor McGregor has the best fight build-ups. I have enjoyed live at least 2 of them. The Dustin Poirier rematch and then the trilogy. And both times, dude, it was so funny to watch. Like, one thing that's like, you can watch the old clips as well, and I noticed it's very true. He's different every press conference. He has different styled hair, and his like temperament is different. Like in the second fight, he was being all nice with Dustin. They were hugging, and he was holding the hot sauce and stuff. And in the third fight, he was so mean to Dustin, bro, and they just hated each other so much. And it was just a grudge match. I'm not sure if he is a showman in that aspect, like putting on a performance, or like he actually has it out for these guys, but super fun to watch anyway it goes. And I just miss whenever he would fight, like even moments aren't even related to his opponent whenever he's fighting. Do you remember, I think it was either The first or second Dustin Poirier fight, it would have had to been two of those because those are the ones that I'm referencing right now. He saw Max Holloway on the skateboard. That's like one of the best moments from a presser. He was like, he stopped what he was talking about because he saw Max Holloway on a skateboard. He was like, is that Max Holloway on a skateboard? And then he goes into like how he has to fight with him again. Bro, Conor McGregor is a GOAT, so he definitely had to get a mention on this list. He is like, man, who the fuck is that guy, bro? Like that's Conor McGregor, so definitely got to give him the respect that he deserves in a mention on this list. The next guy, bro, a new GOAT of the press conference game. We're gonna go with Dricus du Plessis. Dricus du Plessis is an underrated press conference opponent, honestly. If you were facing off with Dricus du Plessis in a press conference and they were asking you questions and you're asking him questions, he would somehow turn the words of the reporter around to make you start crying your eyes out. I don't know how he's able to do it. He's just freely manipulating the emotions of the people that he's fighting in these press conferences with just words. He's beating them before the fight even begins with the press conferences. So definitely got to get a mention on this list. He made Strickland and Adesanya cry. Like there's footage of them crying because of Dricus. Like Adesanya out of just like pure like hatred and rage, and Strickland out of the same thing, dude. He literally digs so deep under these fighters' skin that they feel so much rage towards him in moments where they can't do anything, and they're getting vulnerable in these like public spaces talking about stuff that they just start crying. And it's so funny to watch because you like you know that he knows exactly what he's doing, Dricus, but he'll deny it because he's the gaslighting GOAT, man. So he's got to mention on this list, of course. The next fighter, love him or hate him, I don't know why a lot of people hate this guy. Bobby Green, dude. Bobby Green is so fun to watch his fight build-ups. Like, dude, every single time that Bobby Green fights, there's always something that jumps off in like a hotel room, you know, like with the Armin fight, or he goes back and forth with another guy like Grant Dawson. He was clearly in that guy's head, man. Poor kid. He came out and got one-shotted by Bobby Green. All of these pressers, dude, it's usually a standoff with one camp versus another camp. Bobby Green's getting into it, man. And it makes it so that it's like people are watching the fight, whether they feel like he's in the wrong for it and they want to see him lose, or like in the Armin fight, you know, like we're maybe even targeting this. Granted, he can win the fight that he was in that time around. I think that was the Jalen Turner fight. We won't talk about it. But Bobby Green, I'm not sure what's next for him following a loss to Paddy Pimblett. But you know, it's going to be entertaining, whatever they put him up to, and he'll have some good moments in the press conferences. Those Mac Life interviews with Bobby Green and them are going to hit the next time that he fights. I'm calling it right now. You know, it's going to be true. So we're moving on to the next one. This is a brilliant one right here. Khamzat Chimaev is literally one of the most fun members of a press conference that you can have, because he's just such a random bag. Like, you don't really know what you're going to get, man. Like, you know, he's going to pull up and be like, yes, brother, I fight everybody. I'm going to win, brother. But, like, you don't know if he's going to show up, because he'll do all this talking and be like, yes, I'm going to fight and I'm going to win. And like, he'll gas everybody up at the presser if he even shows up. And then again, at fight night, he might not even show up. So this is all what it's building up to, is maybe an anticlimax where you don't even get to watch him fight, because he's going to be like, yes, brother, my tummy hurt and I cannot fight, brother. My tummy hurt bad. And that's, bro, that's literally so exciting. The fact that we're going to get to watch that with Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev, dude. Tell me you are not excited to watch Khamzat Chimaev in this press conference just make a bunch of threats to just, because, you know, the funniest thing is that, like, Khamzat Chimaev has done interviews before where he says that he respects Robert Whittaker, so whatever other middleweight or welterweight is on the stage with him, that's who he's going to be beefing with. It's never like, it's like everybody is beefing with Khamzat Chimaev at a press conference. That's what makes it funny. So, gonna give him the ranking here. Super funny guy to have at a press conference. The next one was a guy who I just mentioned in the Bobby Green pick. Paddy Pimblett's build-ups are always super fun. Love him or hate him again, I mean, I feel like he is probably going to continue to win, because that grappling is something like we probably haven't seen in a while at 155. It's serious. But at least the submission artistry of like his game and grappling, because I don't think he's the best wrestler, that's clearly evident, but his jiu-jitsu is really slick. It's definitely maybe like Oliveira level, like we'll talk about Oliveira, Chase Hooper level. Like he's really good at jiu-jitsu, so I rate him on the strength of that alone. But aside from that, he has like the blonde wigs and stuff. Everyone loves his walkouts, you know. I would even include this as like the fight build-up, him walking into the octagon. It's always the goofy song, and he's doing the dance, you know, he's pointing up in the air and he's jumping around, and he does the chant as well. I mean, honestly, it's kind of electric, dude. It's cringe whenever other people do it, but for him, for some reason, whenever he's in the UK doing that and everyone else is rocking with it, he kind of gets a pass. So Paddy Pimblett's build-ups are interesting just because ever since the fight with Gordon, Paddy Pimblett, we've all wanted to see him lose, and we've like, a lot of us have had it out for him because we feel like he kind of like robbed him in that fight Gordon. But whatever, I'm willing to let sleeping dogs lie on that one. After his last win, it was pretty nice where he wore the orange shorts. So, and that's another thing, he gets colorful shorts too. So his build-ups, you either want to see him lose or you're rooting for him and you want to see him win. So you're invested. I think that he does a good job of being like a showman and promoting himself and his fights. So Paddy Pimblett makes the list, of course. This is like, if Conor McGregor is the final boss, this guy is like the lieutenant of the general in this instance. He's literally like, these dudes are literally like press conference Mario and Luigi. So Colby Covington, dude. Colby Covington is like, nobody can talk better than him. I don't think anyone can talk better than Colby Covington. This guy literally can convince you of anything. And he can convince a large group of people of anything, even if it's not based in facts. He's great at talking. He's good at like creating names for things as well, which is an important tactic that he uses to like shift a crowd onto his side. You could go on this long tirade about things that Colby Covington has done wrong and legitimate reasons why, as a fan, you shouldn't support Colby Covington. And Colby Covington will just come up with a funny, like, if your name starts with, like, B, say your name is, like, Brad, he'll call you, like, Big Nipple Brad. Because, like, if you're, like, an overweight guy as well. And that'll literally just make people laugh. And he's very good at, like, finding these little things to, like, nitpick on people for. And to create these names that stick. Like Ian Machado Ferry. Like how I couldn't come up with that, I don't think. Maybe without like thinking about that for like a long time, but this dude is literally just ripping these off the top of the dome. So Colby Covington is literally like press conference fireworks, mate. So I couldn't, maybe I do another video where I build a press conference with like who I think would be the best fighters, because I mean, I feel like if you just do all of these fighters on a press conference together, you know, the synergy might not be there, but individually, I feel like these guys are great. Colby Covington is the entire press conference. Whenever he's on stage, like, he is the press conference, dude. He is the media day. Whenever you're like, you interview Colby Covington, you get so much content out of it. So many moments are produced from just him talking. I feel like he's more relevant as a guy who just roasts people at press conference now than as an actual fighter. So Colby Covington for sure gets here on this list. We're going to go to our last pick here, and it's going to be Israel Adesanya. I don't really like Israel Adesanya, but he definitely needs to be mentioned as far as like fighters with the most entertaining build-ups, especially now as a contender too. Because, dude, you want to talk about a fighter who I've been waiting to fall off for a long time? It's Izzy, dude. I've been waiting for his fall off for years now. Like, ever since... Because the thing that frustrated me about Adesanya all the way up until his loss to Strickland is that all the times that he had lost fights prior to that, against Pereira, arguable, like, close decisions that he maybe should have lost, and then Jan Blachowicz, there was always some, like, type of excuse you could make, you know? Like, he wasn't really that hurt. It was an early stoppage in, like, the Pereira one. I mean, dude, that becomes more and more like, okay, he got caught there. Like, there's no excuse that can be made. But there was never really, like, a clean loss for Izzy, you know? And that's what I've been waiting on. I still want to see him get, like, knocked out like he did against Alex Pereira in kickboxing in the UFC. I'm still waiting on that. But that's the reason why I continue to give his pressers viewership, dude. Because I want to see him say all of the cringe and all of, like, the weird stuff. Just so that whenever he loses, like it feels that much better. The fact that he like doubled down and said all this cringe stuff. Like whenever he was making this like super like about like the real African and stuff with Drickus, and he was calling him like the N-word and stuff. Like it was fun to watch him get beaten that way after he made it so weird. So I'm gonna continue to be on this type of timing whenever he gets his fights announced. If it's against a bum, then like I'll just have to accept the fact that he's probably gonna win. But if it's a competitive fight, I'm rooting for the other guy. If it's a close fight on paper, and I hope that he gets knocked out, dude, just so that I can watch this presser and him just make it super personal and weird and talk about weird stuff in the presser and then go out and lose. So as far as viewership goes, I feel like this is a game that more fighters should play. I feel like a lot of them are relatively safe, and you know, I will say this and I won't say that. I feel like we need to move the line a bit further forward or backwards, honestly, as far as like where we're going is like where we draw it. Because I would like to see more trash talk to stimulate, you know, like these cards, as they're not very good. Like we had Ronaldo Rodriguez literally steal the last press conference just by being moderately entertaining and swearing in Spanish on the mic. It doesn't take that much. So this is what I like to see. These are the fighters who I believe put on the best media. I always like watching the reporters and journalism on the sport, even though those guys ask horrible questions, but these are the fighters whose clips I'm always dig through and be like, and laugh, you know, because it's funny. So that's the list, fellas. Thank you guys for making it until the end. If you've made it here, please like, comment, and subscribe. All of the YouTube algorithm things. I am trying to grow the channel after all. And I will catch you fellas in the next one.